We've got some breaking news here on NFL Daily. I am Tom Downey. Myles Garrett, the Browns' superstar pass rusher, has requested a trade from the Browns, citing a desire to win, which he clearly doesn't think is going to happen anymore in Cleveland. And we'll break down some destinations for a Garrett trade, but give me your one-word reaction. First one you had when you saw the news of Myles Garrett requesting that trade. Let me know in the comments section of today's show. This is what Garrett had to say. Well, I've loved calling this city my home. My desire to win and compete on the biggest stages won't allow me to be complacent. The goal was never to go from Cleveland to Canton. It has always been to compete for and win a Super Bowl. With that in mind, I have requested to be traded from the Cleveland Browns. Now, just because you request a trade doesn't mean it's going to happen. Browns GM Andrew Berry said previously, repeatedly, they were not going to trade Garrett. They were focused on getting him an extension that would make him, if not the highest, one of the highest paid defensive ends. Again, that is where things currently sit, which does make things difficult for the Browns because they don't want to trade him. And the contract also isn't exactly a very tradable one from the Browns' perspective. The new team would acquire a $19.8 million mostly option bonus this year, $25 million next year. That's not bad for a new team. A new team is going to give him a new contract anyway. But the Browns eat $36+ million in dead cap with the trade, which isn't good for them. They're already kind of up against the money anyway with the way they've properly structured contracts to be aggressive, but it's been a disaster because their quarterback play has been near the bottom of the NFL on a consistent basis. Trading away Myles Garrett doesn't bode well for the Browns from a money perspective. Now, not every team would have interest in Myles Garrett. Not every team is feasibly in the market, though. Justin Jefferson makes $35 million per year. I would bet entering his age 30 season, Myles Garrett is going to get at least $35 million per year from a new team. That is how the math is going to work out in the end. It simply is. There's too much interest in Garrett for him to not get a, if not record-setting, at least this figure number there. So not every team is going to be financially able to, nor should they have interest in paying Garrett that money because it might not be the best team building exercise. Plus, he wants to go to a winner. So you're cutting off a lot of the teams I think are realistic destinations for Garrett. So will the Browns end up trading away Myles Garrett? Y for yes, N for no. It's the pinned comments on today's video. So if the ad comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know. Now we're going to break down the top Myles Garrett trade destinations. We'll mention 10 teams. Again, there could very well be more than 10 teams that at least call on Myles Garrett. There should be more than 10. Every single team should call. Now the trade value, if it gets to that point, I do think is something resembling the Khalil Mack trade. That was 2 firsts, a third, and a sixth in exchange for Mack, a second, and a fifth. So you're kind of in that ballpark of what we've seen in previous years of 2 firsts and change in some capacity involved. Maybe it's only a first and a second and a player, whatever it looks like there. I think you're going to get a massive haul back for Myles Garrett if the Browns were to trade him, which they have to. You can't eat $36 million in dead money and start your rebuild, which is what you'd be doing if you traded away Myles Garrett, if you didn't get a big haul back. So let's go 10-1. Number 10 is the Dallas Cowboys. And you know they're going to get linked. It's how it always goes. The projected cap space from over the cap is deceptive. Dallas can free up upwards of $75 million by restructuring Dak Prescott as they're supposed to, restructuring CeeDee Lamb, and also paying Micah Parsons. But that's part of the issue. Nothing about the way the Dallas Cowboys have been run the past 25 plus years indicates that they are willing to pay Micah Parsons and trade and then pay for Myles Garrett. That's not how they do business anymore. Now, Garrett is from, I think it's actually Arlington, Dallas area originally. So he's going to get linked, but I don't really buy it as a credible destination. Number 9, the Green Bay Packers. And I would bet in general, if the Browns do trade Myles Garrett, they take the Khalil Mack approach. Let's ship him outside of the division. Packers have enough salary cap space. They need one more dude on defense. I think that is what they're missing. Receiver, one more guy. And defensively, one more stud. Now, I think corner might be a bigger focal point for Green Bay, but a great way to help your corners is to have an elite pass rush. And Rashawn Gary getting back on track, pairing with Myles Garrett, that is a highly appealing duo. Now, today's show is made possible by Game Time. They got a new feature. It's called Game Time Picks. Makes getting tickets for events even easier. It filters out the fluff to only show you the incredible deals on great seats. So you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets to find the best potential value. The super deal is the best deal on any given event. It is the best value possible. Then there's amazing, great, as also really good deals. The Game Time guarantee is this. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. The all-in pricing feature means if you toggle that on, you'll see your total cost up front with no surprise fees at checkout. Download the Game Time app today, create your account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. But again, create your account, redeem code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today for last-minute tickets, lowest price, all guaranteed. Let's go to number 8, the Arizona Cardinals. Thought about teams like the Seattle Seahawks in here as well. Cardinals have, I think, a bigger needed edge. They don't have anyone I truly believe is the number one guy. Massive salary cap space, too. $71 million. They could easily afford that. I also question if Arizona would be viewed as a big enough contender by Garrett. Not that I don't know how much leverage he'd really have in picking his destination. We'll see on that front. Maybe extension leverage would be how he plays it out there. I don't know if they view themselves as a big enough contender at this time. But Arizona does check in at number 7 on the list, or number 8 on the list, excuse me. At number 7, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which would be kind of ironic to see Myles Garrett and Baker Mayfield together in Tampa. I don't know what that relationship is like at this point, but worth mentioning there. They don't have a ton of salary cap space. Now, can make it work, but that's why they're a little bit lower here. I do think another edge would be a huge need for Tampa. Not huge, but a big need there. And they have shown a willingness to be aggressive in the past. Would they do that for Garrett? Maybe. All right, our first AFC team on the list. Again, we didn't go heavy on AFC teams, but Buffalo Bills are on here. Now, they got issues to figure out money-wise. I think a Josh Allen extension is coming in the near future that would also free up salary cap space, by the way. I'm sure the Bills feel like they are close, that they are close to being where they want to be, but the money is a bit of a question mark here. You would be able to send an edge rusher out, I would assume. They have good edge talent. They have good edge depth. Von Miller has not been the true dynamic number one. He wasn't his prime. That's fine. And he's not a Garrett level player anymore either. But I've seen the Bills mentioned a lot. I don't think they're a top 5 fit like other people do, though. Maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? If Myles Garrett gets traded, who ends up landing him? Get your predictions in for me in the comments of today's show. The Falcons are number 5 on this list. They need a pass rusher. They don't have someone who is good enough. They have a cheap young quarterback now in Michael Penix. They can be aggressive on that rookie quarterback contract. They get bonus points if they can somehow work in a Kirk Cousins trade into this. Although I would say if the Browns do trade away Myles Garrett, there's no point in adding Kirk Cousins. They're not going to be. They would be rebuilding, so Kirk doesn't benefit them there. But I do want to acknowledge the rumors of a Cousins destination in Cleveland as well. Number 4, the L.A. Chargers. They kind of took their medicine last year to get their books in order. And when you do that properly, it takes 1 year to do it. And now they've got a projected $63 million plus figure in salary cap space. Khalil Mack's a free agent. You could let Khalil Mack walk, go trade for Myles Garrett, spend trade your first round pick and more. I do question, though, I'll mention it again. I do question if the Browns would be willing to trade him in the AFC. They might try to ship him off to the NFC if the offers are close, if they are willing to move him. Now, we will have more NFL coverage for you right here on the channel. Hit that sub button so you don't miss out. It's youtube.com/chatsportstv. Number 3, as we will now go NFC heavy here, the Chicago Bears. They've got money, almost $63 million in salary cap space. I like Montez Sweat a lot. Imagine him as the number 2 edge rusher, though. Now, they've got that rookie contract window right now. Caleb Williams is very cheap. Maybe they'd rather invest in the offense a little bit more. But I think adding Myles Garrett is something you got to consider when that level of player is available on the market. Number 2, the Washington Commanders. Oh, how a year changes everything for Washington. Now, all of a sudden, they are a premier destination. They've got salary cap space, $78 million. They're coming off a conference championship run. They have that rookie contract with Jaden Daniels, not paying him anything. They've got money. They have a glaring needed edge. They could trade away the first-round pick and more and get a superstar edge for Dan Quinn's defense that he doesn't really have. Dante Fowler, Dorrance Armstrong played fine. These guys aren't number one edges, though. Adding Myles Garrett would be a huge boost to the Commanders. Then at number one, the Detroit Lions. They've got cap space, by the way, $46.5 million. They're in a pretty good, healthy salary cap spot there. Now, they got to pay Hutchinson soon. That could be an issue here. But they are in the middle of their window. And who knows how long Jared Goff will play at the level he's been able to play at. The coaching staff getting overhauled there. This is an aggressive. We might not have the same level of window we have 3-4 years from now. Trying to maximize it in the short term. Lions were linked all trade deadline after the Hutchinson injury. But now it's a little bit more real in terms of a potential Myles Garrett trade.